Alright guys, we are here with a first impression of the new DLC map that just came out today in Farming Simulator 25. This is, I think it's called Kinsong. It's the Highlands DLC map. Anyways guys, let's get in the video. So while you're here, this is a first impression. I have not played this map before. I have not done anything with this DLC. This is a very first impression, raw impression. I did see some ads on it, but that's about it. Looks like we got some vehicles to start with the starter farm. Got this trailer, or this tractor looks new. I don't think I've seen this one before, which is pretty cool. Looks like it's got a front loader attachment. Got a New Holland tractor. Got a car. I believe this is also new with the DLC. Obviously a harvester. And then it looks like that's all you get for the starter farm vehicles. Looks like we got in the map here, if I go to construction so we can see a little more, kind of see what the starter farm looks like. Looks like we got a decent size, some vehicles, cell plant, or I mean a silo there. Looks like a couple sheds, house obviously. Nothing too fancy with that, nothing too crazy. But obviously guys, the highlight of this DLC is of course the fishing. This map does look pretty dang good, I do have to say. It's a lot of hills that I see here, but I think the water here is where the money's gonna be made, right? Because you got farming options out in that water. So like if we go out in the map here just to see, a lot of river, a lot of water, and I believe that the fishing industry that you can take part in, I mean, look at all this water that you have. And I do also believe that there's boats now, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you can buy them or not, so let's check that out, see if there's boats that you can purchase. I don't know if you buy the boats or if they're like something you just kind of drive around in. And now as I look for this boat here, I'm not too sure where it is. Let me know in the comments. Are you going to be getting this DLC or not? There are a couple new Can-Ams in this DLC as well, which is kind of cool. A couple more side-by-sides. Not in the trucks, obviously. Not going to be in the tractors. As for new implements too, I believe that there's a new crop is onions. Highlands, yep, right here you got this thing to plant, a new planter here, which is pretty cool. Looks like it's pretty big too. 6 meters isn't that big, but you know, it's decent size. So that's kind of cool. Some other things that I've noticed in here are, I click on that. All right, we can just look through here. So you got a couple new tractors. Looks like we got this thing here. It's used for plant onions, an onion planter. Onions I think are a little more in depth than some of the other crops, which is kind of cool. A couple sprayers, some trailers. You know, a new sprayer truck. That's kind of cool. I like the look of this one here. The green's kind of cool. I do like the look of that. Ooh, look at that thing. And a fishing rod. Oh my goodness, I'm buying that. That is awesome. Fish food pallet, so you can buy fishing, I believe, too. So if I go into animals, now that there are options for, actually, where would that be? Would it be under construction here? I think we can purchase now. Go into animals. I think there might be other. Is it under other? I do know that there's options for fishing. How that works, I have yet to figure out. Maybe you have to buy it over here. I'm not too sure. There is a castle I think you can build up, which is kind of cool. The fishing industry will be kind of cool. I thought there would be more coast, to be honest, than there is in this base from the looks of it, but it is certainly a thing that you can do. Let's travel around this map here and check it out. So we do go here, visit to the boat store. Not sure why it's called the boat store, but there's fishing boats here. I wonder if I can take this boat out for a spin. Can you? That'd be cool if you can hop in here and drive it. These boats look cool. Oh, and I'm in the water, I'm swimming. That is going to be a problem with this, I have a feeling, is needing to swim everywhere. There's a bakery. I'm not sure what the boat store is necessarily used for here, but let's open the boat shop. Oh, you can buy boats here. Oh, sport boat, cargo vessel are your two options. Cargo vessel used to transport goods, which would be awesome for my mining map that I do. I'm going to slap this puppy on Yukon. We're going to buy that just for fun. Oh, that thing is awesome. Look at that. Can I hop in it? How do I get it? Oh, look at that's cool. So it looks like this thing kind of putters along here. I'm full throttle right now. I'm just kind of curious how these water mechanic works. Kind of slides around. This does handle like you would think in the water, which is cool. It also has a crane, it looks like, so you can unfold the crane. Switch to a passenger seat. Not sure how I do switch to the passenger seat, but there's this crane here, which I can use this dock here if I want, up in the front, which is cool. You got crane access for loading and unloading goods. But basically, I think this is just a cargo ship. That is really cool. I think the biggest benefit to this Highlands DLC is going to be in the modding department. This opens up a whole bunch of stuff. The boats is really cool. That's going to add a lot of options here. So let's hop back in the boat store here, and let's buy a sports boat just to see what this looks like. I like the graphics on this. This boat looks pretty cool. But I can only imagine the mods people are going to come up with for these boats, right? We're going to get jet skis. We're going to get all kinds of boats. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's kind of cruise around here, see what this map has to offer. Head into the little cove here. I do know that there's also some fishing spots or fish farms that you can do. However, I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I would imagine it's like the rice fields, maybe. Cultivation? No, I'm not sure how to place those down necessarily. So I do want to figure that out. It's not under animals, which I kind of figured to be under animals, but it doesn't look like it. Fences, lights, other decoration, not here. Factories, maybe. Could be at the bottom of the factories. Offshore agriculture. Oh, here we go. All right, aquaculture. So you do have an offshore aquaculture can be used to grow fish, fish breeding, and then a fish lake. And I think you can put the lake on your own land, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure where my land is necessarily. Okay, so this is my land. You can just plop this on your own land, which is cool. Can you grow it, or is it stuck at the size? It looks like this is the only size you can get, but I think we're just going to throw it down just so we can kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, so it kind of reminds me of fish pond. Oh, so yeah, so you got a little lake there, which is kind of cool. And then, you know, you got this fish breeding thing. We're going to slap one of those down. And then you got one of these, but you have to build this in the water. So I think I don't know if I have to own the water. Oh, I can just let this out anywhere. So you got all this water you can use. You can just kind of throw those down. So we're just going to plop that here just so we can kind of see it. Take this whole speedboat, which is actually kind of embarrassingly slow for a speedboat. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of my only complaint so far with this DLC. Is the boat is pretty dang slow, but, you know, so is life, I guess. It's not too bad. Which makes sense why they have that cargo ship. I would imagine that the fish that you produce will eventually kind of like, I don't know if fill up's the right word, but it will, like the pallets for however you sell it, I would imagine having a cargo ship for that's going to be exceedingly useful. Yeah, this boat looks really cool. The graphics look good, the waves look good, and like I said, I can only imagine what the mods are going to look like for this kind of thing once those come out. I'm really looking forward to that. Looks like this one comes with a barge as well. I see a dock. This boat is a little hard to drive, I've noticed. Yeah, it's very difficult to drive. It's very slow to react, right? Which I expected on the cargo ship, but it's doing it even on this little boat here is very difficult to maneuver. Look at all those fish in there. That's really cool. Is he gonna let me jump out of the boat? Alright, so now we're on our fish farm here. You can kind of check it out. So, looks like you can place these anywhere in the water, either you own it or not, but you do have options to produce fish now. I think if I go into my... Would it be under my productions, maybe? Owned. Okay, offshore agriculture. Fish lake, you have to... these are kind of like greenhouses, it would appear. More or less. They're just like... but you have different options. So the fish lake, you can do trout. And the offshore, you can do salmon. And the breeding, it looks like you can breed young salmon, which I would guess that you can transport into full salmon. So you add the young salmon here, they grow up, and then you sell them. So that's kind of cool. Definitely different. I do, like I said, really like that. So the fishing is really cool, obviously. There's also Highland cows now, which I probably have. Yeah, so you got the fluffy cows, which is pretty cool. If we go back to my land here, I could probably show you what those look like if I had to guess. If I only knew where my cows were. That's sheep. Okay, cows are right here. So here's my cow pasture. Yeah, I got some fluffy cows in here, which are pretty cool. They're just grazing, just kind of doing cow things. So that's awesome. The starter farm looks like you got a couple of different fields. Nothing too fancy with that. I believe I plopped down that fish farm over here somewhere. So let's, where did I put it? Did I put it down this end? I don't remember where I put it. But like I said, you do have different options with that. A couple of different pastures and fields, which is cool. Like a little bit of equipment, starter equipment, which is cool. Got a little grass pasture to feed your animals. Basically, the starter farm has everything you absolutely need, maybe a little more. There's this island over here, which is kind of cool. Looks like there's a lot of good farmland here. These fields look fairly farmable. It doesn't look like it's going to be like Xylanka, where you can kind of connect them easily and scale up to a giant operation, but definitely large enough fields that'll keep you busy. But I think the main focus here is going to be this water area. Looks like there's some logging to be done on that side of the map as well. Let's keep exploring here with this boat. I see a nice bridge here, which is kind of cool. It looks like that takes you to that island. I'm not totally sure what's all over there. You do have that cool castle there, which I like. Nice terrain in the mountains. Nice boat. Nice ocean. Let's hop in the car here. Let's go for a drive and just kind of drive around here. Oop, this thing's hard to drive. But yeah, so we're gonna take a stroll through the countryside here. In my little car. I think this thing goes pretty fast too, if I'm not mistaken. It's a really pretty map. I do have to say, visually, I think this is my favorite map that they released. As for pure economic, like what's the most efficient, I think Xylanka is probably still more efficient if you're trying to grow a big farm. Just off first impressions. I'd have to dive into it a little more to see. But I think this would easily come in, probably be the #1 map I play, all things being equal, simply because there's the most to do here. There's the most varied terrain, all that fun stuff. Let's head over to that bridge and see what that's got to offer. Looks like there's a bus. There's that big train station up there. This is definitely the best looking map, I think. It's kind of got the vibes of the Huntai map, where there's just kind of a lot going on in a good way. Feels very lively. The town has a lot of action going on around it, which I appreciate. Sometimes these farming simulator maps are a little dead. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. That's awkward. Hopefully I can flip it. I cannot flip it. That is, it's funny. Alright, so don't drive here, apparently. Alright, so didn't take me that far. Shop's in the middle of town. The shop placement is actually very key to me. If the shop is too inconvenient to get to and or get equipment out of, I'm usually not a fan of the map. So it looks like this is in a decent spot. It's pretty close to the water, which is nice. And also I feel like field 25, 5, 3, 4, 24 are going to be good maps to, or fields to farm in anyways, or this little block of like 8, 10, 11, 9 would be a good block. So I do like the store placement. Don't want to hit that full speed again. So I do like that. That's kind of why I like Xylanka the best, because the store is right in an ideal spot. You spend a lot of time driving back and forth from the store. A lot of speed bumps around, which is kind of a pain. I'm not a huge fan of that. Looks like there's a lot to explore here, right? You got a sunken ship right there. This bus driving around is kind of cool. Probably just going to get in the way, though, if we're being honest. And you got this bridge here going across, which you can't use. Okay, so that takes you outside the map. Doesn't look like you can use that portion of the map. So this is all off limits. It's kind of a dead zone. You might be able to drive there in the boat, but you cannot drive there in a vehicle. Let's see how far north we can go here in this. Does it just let you go to the edge of the map? Or does it let you kind of go out into the water a little bit here? I'm kind of curious. I'm a little disappointed in this boat. I thought it'd be faster. I think that's kind of my only real complaint, and that's not really a big complaint. So overall, I think this DLC is pretty cool. Definitely going to be one I'm playing. Might even try doing a Let's Play series if you guys are into that. Yeah. So anyways, if you guys...